It looks like Lucasfilm and the Walt Disney Company are already going to be retconning their own source material that they created from Star Wars Rebels in the upcoming Star Wars Ahsoka series. It looks like they're going to be retconning how Sabine Wren learns how to wield a lightsaber. They basically teased this in a recent teaser trailer. Let's actually watch a little bit of this here so you can see what I'm talking about.
Concentrate. Take in all that is around you. Let's go again.
And that's pretty much it right there. You see that Ahsoka is the one training Sabine Wren using some wooden saber sticks and then obviously giving her some other advice. And then you see her taking that training and using it against the character Shin Hati, I believe is her name. So that is a significant departure from how we saw Sabine Wren actually learn how to wield a lightsaber in Star Wars Rebels. Yes, indeed, she had already been taught how to wield a lightsaber by Kanan Jarrus. And of course, you can't have a man teaching a woman how to do anything in current Star Wars. It has to be a woman. Remember, the Force is female now, and that is indeed looks like what they are doing. They're continuing their Force is female trope by having Ahsoka supplant Kanan as the teacher of Sabine Wren when it comes to wielding a lightsaber. And you can go back and watch Star Wars Rebels Season 3, Episode 15, Trials of the Darksaber. You have Kanan and Ezra Bridger teaching Sabine Wren how to wield a lightsaber. Ezra basically teaches her all of the motions and steps and the forms, I guess, if to be that's the technical term. And then Kanan obviously struggles with teaching her. Sabine is struggling learning. They're both getting kind of frustrated with each other. They both kind of try and find ways to deal with that frustration. Kanan eventually gives her the Darksaber to practice with and then kind of tries to break the mental blocks that she had in place that were preventing her from truly being able to embrace the training that he was trying to teach her. And she eventually does indeed figure out how to wield the Darksaber effectively by the end of the episode. You even have Kanan saying, "You've come a long way in a very short time. Where you go from here is up to you, but know this family will stand by you no matter what you choose." In the subsequent episode, Legacy of Mandalore, Wren uses Ezra Bridger's green lightsaber to disarm and defeat Gar Saxon, who had taken the Darksaber as his own and was trying to unite Mandalore under his rule and was going to destroy Clan Wren in the process. So we saw her learn how to wield a lightsaber being taught by Kanan and Ezra, but it looks like that is going to be changed in the Ahsoka series with Ahsoka teaching her how to do that. And this shouldn't really come as a surprise. Dave Filoni has been quite outspoken on how he does not care about Star Wars canon whatsoever. He said this here. Speaking with Screen Rant and Star Wars Celebration just in April, he said, "People get into all these debates of what's canon, what's not, and sometimes forget just the special nature of telling a good story and creating great characters." So there you have it right there. He doesn't really give a crap about canon as long as he can somehow tell a great story. However, if you're changing the story's past that you're trying to add on to, it's hard to actually tell a great story, isn't it there, Dave Filoni? Nevertheless, he goes on and says, "Part of the fan debate in the past always used to be what's canon, what's not, because there was George and we always knew George was the canon. I look at it very broadly and just say there's just a love of Star Wars because I knew George, I worked with him. None of us are going to be him, but we love the galaxy he created and we are very much a product of it, growing up with it." So that's just some kind of platitudes about that. I think the meat of it is kind of that first paragraph there that I talked about. As for why this idea is utterly stupid and ridiculous, you had J.A.R. Tolkien explain in his essay on fairy stories. He says, "What really happens is that the storymaker proves a successful sub-creator. He makes a secondary world which your mind can enter. Inside it, what he relates is true. It accords with the laws of that world. You therefore believe it while you are, as it were, inside. The moment disbelief arises, the spell is broken. The magic, or rather art, has failed. You are then out in the primary world again, looking at the little abortive secondary world from outside. If you are obliged by kindliness or circumstance to stay, then disbelief must be suspended or stifled. Otherwise, listening and looking would become intolerable. But the suspension of disbelief is a substitute for the genuine thing, a subterfuge we use when condescending to games or make-believe, or when trying more or less willingly to find what virtue we can in the work of an art that has for us failed. So you want to keep that immersion, and you can keep that immersion by sticking to what the source has already told you, what the history of that world already is, rather than trying to change that world, thus breaking the immersion and then either forcing people to look out of it and see it for what it is as an abortive second world, or have to forcibly suspend their disbelief or stifle it as Tolkien uses. And Star Wars has been making this mistake constantly since Disney bought it from George Lucas, and it doesn't look like they're going to be changing anytime soon. And that's why people will continue to leave the franchise, because they are losing that immersion that they once had.
Subscribe for more.